Okay, there you go. Oh, sure, their dad's office years ago. Yeah. Yeah, nobody else has a copper ceiling there. That's right. I remember hearing that as a kid, that my uncles had built these, grand offices.
Okay, folks, we are on the clock, and I will call this meeting to order of the DeKalb County Commissioners. The day's date is May the 8th, 2023. Good morning, Dottie. What you got today? Mic's on, everyone.
Well, good morning, everybody. I do have a special guest star this morning. I would like to invite Jack Smith, the...
Okay, hold that thought, sorry. I have a black screen.
The black screen of death.
On the
Okay.
live part.
The-
I mean, ours shows, but it doesn't show that on the
oh,
YouTube part.
on the, okay.
See, he was in here for a reason.
Put him to work.
Well, and our special guest star is messing around with our
Right?
system, so, yeah. And maybe we'll be stuck on Andrew the whole time.
Right? We'll see.
Now it's on Dottie.
Yeah, it could have. Broke the camera.
Technology.
It's great when it works.
The necessary evil.
The crew's balding head, we all shine too much on the camera or something. Too much glare, that's right. Okay. Okay. I had never heard that before.
Neither
Cruise
have I.
Palace of Law and Real Estate.
And real
Yikes.
estate, okay. I know. It's the best office in the county government. It is. Yeah, yeah. Yes, fireplace, yes. For when I have to fire employees, that's the joke.
Well, that's fine.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Dottie.
Hi, Jack. It's the Jack and Dottie Show.
All right.
Anyway, last time we met, Jack had discussed a new position, a help desk technician position. However, in looking at his needs in the department, the growth of the county data, things like that. He has some different ideas and would like to go just a little different route. So I will let him take over from here.
Well, thank you, Dottie.
You're welcome.
So, to summarize, last week when we talked, we had a conversation about part-time and interns for the department. That need really hasn't changed, but we're starting to look at the succession plan as well as additional needs for the department to grow and support the offices as needed. The help desk technician, as we started talking about it, I'm not sure that's the best direction to go at this point, just based upon our current needs. We're in a position right now where we've got some fairly heavy projects that we're trying to get resolved. That particular position, through their growth, really isn't the best bang for our buck, to put it that way. I need someone that has skill sets based upon our current direction, which includes migrating to Microsoft 365. We've got the courts project currently in process right now. We've got the cybersecurity project that we've been talking about for quite some time, the know before. Thank you to the commissioners for approving that. But we're just right on the edge of wanting to turn it into something a lot with a lot more meat to it, basically.
Robust.
Robust, thank you. So in doing so, I started evaluating the positions in that. Last week when we talked about the help desk technician, the idea was having someone to take calls and then disperse them off to other folks. On down the road, maybe we go back and readdress that. But I'm looking for something a little bit more, with a little bit more teeth to it, that we can go through and have someone come in and actually start taking on these projects based upon skill sets of folks that are coming in. So, and that'll go through the entire process, because it'll be a new full-time position. So we would ask the commissioner's approval for creating the position, and then take it to the council for funding on down the road. So that's where I'm at with it. We've got some serious needs. I also look at the position as being maybe a stepping stone to in a couple of years when I retire. A lot can happen between now and then, but we need to at least start making some plans for it now, because it's not something that you can just say, okay, you're the new director at that point. So I open it up to the commissioners for comments, questions, directions.
Yeah, Todd, Mike, any comments, questions?
I think I understand it. You just want another full-time person someone that you can segue into the position, eventually your position, right? Train them the way you want them. And
Right. And in the meantime, they've got the skill sets to actually help us with the full projects that we have going on. Right now, we've got over 100 wants. I want this, I want that. Can you do this? Can you do that? And one of the things that we run into is with that many wants, the projects have a tendency of sliding down, because you've got the immediate needs versus it's the putting out fire as opposed to preventing the fires.
When you retire, I assume you will be hiring another person then to come into that other position.
Yes. And we started conversations on this last spring, possibly, with my council liaison. We had Bob Kraft come in, sit down and start talking just in general, things like that. So it's been an ongoing topic. I'm not planning anything in the immediate future, but it is coming. And the more that we can be prepared for it, the easier the transition is, and everyone benefits from it.
That's a good plan. This is one of the most important and most difficult to fill positions that we're going to have coming up. So whatever we can do to make that transition smooth and get the right people in the right spots, I'm all for.
Is IT on a 35-hour work week?
I'm sorry?
Is IT on a 35-hour work week?
Yes. Well, yeah.
They're salaried exempt,
sorry,
so
I just had to.
they do whatever it takes to get the job done.
We were.
Have you ever worked 35 hours?
A day? Yeah. Well, yeah, like this weekend was a perfect example. We've got the renovations going up in Superior Court 1, so we were here at 6:30 Saturday morning, helping them get stuff done, and here at 6 o'clock this morning, starting to put things back together. So it's busy.
Yeah, comments?
I do. I have a hunch that council is very aware that that's going to have to be a major topic of discussion moving forward too.
Yeah.
The structure.
We've got good notes, and it's not something that we're taking lightly. So,
Yeah.
Okay. We need a motion?
You want a motion to create the position? Is that what it is? And what would the position
Because you're
technically
adding,
be?
because you're adding an
Would it be an
additional full-time.
assistant director, or?
it would be, I would prefer it just be called another systems administrator.
Systems administrator
That way
position?
we don't, if we come in and say assistant to the director or whatever, that gives it, suppose that doesn't necessarily work out that way.
Yeah.
So with a
Okay.
systems administrator, that has a broader band of coverage.
And I assume the council would set the pay rate, right? So we're just authorizing the position.
Right.
I'd make a motion that we create the systems administrator position for the IS department.
I will second that.
A motion and second on the floor. Are there any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, say no.
Not me.
Motion passes anonymously. There you go, Jack.
Alrighty, thank you. Thank you very much.
Get us a
Right.
good man on board, or a good person, I should say.
Okay, thank you very much. And while we're talking about, personnel, recruiting, we do have that internship with the IS department. Jack is kind of putting that one on the, if somebody comes in, great. We've had some really good responses to our posting. However, several of them are from colleges a little too far away to work at actually being here on site, say up to, 20 hours a week or whatever. Made contact with the college or the high schools in the area just in case they happen to have somebody who's graduating right now or somebody who's a junior who's looking at, that as a senior moving in, whatever. So we're open. We've not narrowed everything down to this is exactly what we need. So have a few from Trine that could possibly work who are from the area. So that would bode well, if you take a look down the road. So that's kind of where we're at with that one. Highway Department. We've had very few inquiries on Indeed, and Ben has only had just maybe one person stop by last week to fill out an application. So I don't know. In my talking with other counties, some counties are being a little more thinking outside the box. They're doing some contracting with contractors to do some of the work that their highway departments used to. The model that we've had forever and a day isn't working in this job market in various parts of the county, or of the state, I mean. And so, but then some of those contractors are having their problems finding employees too. So, it's just a vicious circle. So Ben said he's not quite at that point yet. It's going to be tight, but they will continue to get as much done as they possibly can with the hours that they are given, and then overtime. He's I think he's frugal when it comes to that, and he's very careful with overtime. He's careful with the county's money, but in order to get the jobs done, does what it takes. So anyway, so that's where we're at there. The auditor is weighing her options for filling her position. The assessor is, as Sheila said, she's still weeding through all of the resumes that I had sent her, and she had quite a few. Just on Indeed, she had 100 inquiries. I sent her probably half of those, so even 50 is still quite a few to look through. So,
What's the skill level of that job?
that one, high school diploma. It would be really great if the person we want good computer skills, some spatial mapping, being able to read a map, being able to see things, just layered, a little bit like what Susan is looking for. You're looking for somebody who has those capabilities of seeing things like that. So we actually had a few people who responded who were working at title companies or had worked at title companies. That would be good. Also, you look at those schematics, you look at whatever those things are called, and try to figure out in your head, where the property lines are, stuff like that. So, yeah.
That would help.
Yep. Sunny Meadows, their new housekeeper cook starts May the 15th. So that's good. The health department still needs a nurse. And I have found out a lot of information from the Indiana Hospital Association, other counties. I've tried to reach out to as many different networks as possible to find out wages. And so Cheryl Lynch, director of the department, and Dr. Souter, our health officer, will be talking to council tomorrow, seeing if maybe raising wages wouldn't help. I don't know if throwing money at it is going to really help. We have a huge employer that we are competing against here in this area. So finding the type of nurse that Cheryl is looking for, somebody who has budgeting, somebody who has some emergency management, somebody who is a nurse, an RN. If you stick with that particular job description, hard to find somebody like that.
Is there any conversation about changing that job description and taking the registered nurse out of it?
I have mentioned it in emails that other counties have done some things like that. They have changed some of their classifications. I have a feeling that Cheryl's resistant to that.
Well, why don't you have that conversation with her? Because she did mention that to me
Yeah.
in a conversation I had with her.
Good. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to think outside the box. And once again, we're dealing with, the job market the way it is. And, Ben is also dealing with private sector, CDL drivers. Everybody's looking. And the ones, he just emailed me, Brooks is giving a big pay raise and a sign-on bonus. Great. Places like that. So, same thing that Cheryl's in, and we're not the only county. I don't know if it makes her feel better or not. She's not the only one, but that's sad.
What would it take to initiate a sign-on bonus policy? Is that,
I think the
Council
State
would
Board
have-
of Accounts and Council might
Council,
have an
obviously.
issue with that, I would say. I don't
Well, it
know.
would have to be initiated by the council.
Right.
The one thing about it's a one-time deal, though. It's not something that's ongoing. If you can get good personnel to hire good personnel with that carrot.
Yeah, once again, you got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
So,
Recruiting is not going to get any easier. It's going to get
No.
more and more complicated and more competitive. So, I think anything that we can throw out to discuss is worthwhile.
yep,
Think about it, discuss
yep,
it.
totally
Yeah.
agree.
And it doesn't have to be a permanent situation necessarily. That's something that would be ongoing into the future, but just something to get through this law that we seem to be in.
Yes.
And
You know,
hopefully they'll quit handing out all this candy to people, and the people get hungry and decide they have to go back to work.
I know. You know, there were so many medical professionals who left due to COVID, due to the situation that there was. But in many reports that I've been reading lately, people are slowly coming back. Not just nurses, but workforce in general. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Anyway, they are talking to council tomorrow, so we'll see. I've given them an awful lot of information to present to council, and I've also given it to council because that is an area, along with CDL drivers, along with IT personnel, that they are looking at seriously what we need to do to change maybe the matrix. So. Sheriff's Department confinement officers, I think we're only down to 2, and deputy sheriffs. Hopefully by mid to late May, we should have at least 2 more on board, maybe more. So that's just all very positive over there. Community Corrections has a weekend position, 12 hours on Saturday, 12 on Sunday. They've had quite a few resumes come in. They have, they've had an interview or 2. They had a no-shows. Same thing with the Change Academy, that part-time facilitator. They've had, a resume or 2, or, resumes come in, set up an interview, people no-show. What is it? But once again, we are not the only employer that this is happening to. We've already talked about systems, and Central Communications has their posting out and about. We are getting a lot of inquiries and then and sending out the application packet and having individuals go to Work One to take the evaluations that they need. And so hopefully we will have a good pool from which to draw from for interviews. So that posting doesn't fall off until the 19th, 22nd, somewhere around there. So we still have some time. They would ideally like to get the people in July. So that's kind of their time frame. And these 2 individuals will, of course, go through the training, but that is to help cushion when Central is opening up the 2, the line for Garrett and the line for City of Auburn. So that will help. Those individuals won't be doing those initially. They have to go through training, but it'll give them the cushion and they'll be able to do that, those 2 channels. So that's good. So that's all I have on recruiting. On our health plan, we have a meeting next Monday with Apex. They will come in with their best bets. But I will tell you the report that I have so far. The medical carriers were a little behind with because of the late delivery of the renewal from Anthem, but they gave them a firm deadline of Friday, the 5th. that all of the proposals needed to be in. I don't have an update as of that, but I will say that Anthem's renewal, fully, as I mentioned, Apex is looking at fully insured, what we have right now, and also self-insured, so that we have something to compare it to. Anthem's renewal came back very high. It was not, I know, surprise, right? Yeah, there was no shocker there. United Healthcare and Surest are the most competitive so far, and they hadn't seen Anthem's self-insured, self-funded come in. That was as of, Thursday, early Friday morning when I talked to them. So anyway, we have them scheduled for May the 15th, and they will be ready with their proposal. And hopefully you guys will be able to take that all in and turn around with a decision very quickly, because with open enrollment June and then go live on July, we have a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And, being self-insured, a lot more moving parts this year. And the auditor's office and payroll and HR. So we have just a boatload of things to do. And I also understand that we have another visitor next Monday, and
Yeah, Lutheran Health Network and representatives from DeKalb Central will be here to pass along information and answer questions on the clinic. And it's an opportune time with Apex here, because that all kind of dovetails
Right.
in together anyway, so,
when I
Do
get
you
back,
have any numbers yet on what that clinic might cost?
yes.
We do.
I forwarded those to everybody, kind of the first blush estimate.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it's really very reasonable for what we get.
good.
yep. Do you want me to ask Apex when I get back over to my office
Ask them what?
if they could be here early?
Well, yeah, that'll save me having to email
Okay.
Bill and Shauna, so yes.
Yes, I
All
will.
right.
I will do that.
I'll send that to you again. It's been several weeks since I sent it along.
Okay,
Yeah.
somehow
That's okay. I lose stuff all the time, too.
Was it in the contract? Were the numbers in that also?
Yes.
Or the agreement?
Yeah, I think
Copy of
it
the
was.
contract and a sample invoice. And
Oh,
And,
I can get that.
just,
Okay.
several, I think there were 4 different documents there. But I'll send that along again.
okay. Thanks, Mike.
Let's say, one last thing, the security of the 9th Street Annex, just kind of an update. Between Jack and Larry talking about, using ID badges for entrance in that building. Jack had inquired with the one vendor that we would use, and the vendor basically said, "Oh, we don't do that sort of thing." And Jack said, "Well, yeah, I have an invoice from you that you did the last project for us." And so anyway, so he's dealing with things like that. So that is still, it's on, his 100 things that he needs to do, projects, sorts of things, and he's staying on top of that one for us. So that is all that I have for you, so that you can mosey on for 9 o'clock. Do you guys have anything else for me?
Anyone? Anything for Dottie?
I don't think so.
Okay, Dottie. Thank you. Have a
Okay,
good
you
day.
are welcome. You too.
Real quick, let's jump into claims. Yes, look over the claims.
Motion to approve claims?
Second?
A motion and second to approve claims. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Claims are passed. Okay. Minutes, real quick.
Move to approve minutes as presented.
As corrected by the auditor.
Right.
As presented the second time.
Second time.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Minutes are approved. Okay, let's jump over into Harry Riley, operator at St. Joe Sewer District, discuss applying for an ARCA grant. You are up.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to get our group together from the St. Joe Spencerville Regional Sewer District. I got McKenna here, Robin, Lauren, Todd, Ben Adams here from Commonwealth Engineering. We've been working on updating and rebuilding our sewer plant out there. It's on the brink of 25, 30 years old. It needs a lot of work done to it. We've been working on things with Ben and Commonwealth Engineering as far as grants and ideas. They're going to engineer the whole thing for us. And one thing we've come into, I think it's called OKRA funding. It was something that we need to bring to you and your attention. It's something, I guess, that you're going to have to help us apply for. So that's kind of where I'm at. I run the plant. I have Todd Saddison there that helps me also with that. I'll hand it over to Ben or Jim. They can explain it more in detail, if that's okay.
Okay.
How's everybody doing? I'm Ben Adams, Commonwealth Engineers. They're looking at about approximately $3.6 million project, and the OKRA funding would give them a $700,000 grant. That would not,
700?
yeah, $700K, and they wouldn't have to pay that back. The rub, though, is that as a regional sewer district, they're ineligible to apply for the funding on their own. Mm-hmm. And so that's why they've come today to ask for the assistance of the county so that they could actually make application to OKRA so that they could seek out this grant. A couple of things. It is a competitive grant process. So, I mean, they just don't dole it out assuming, you say go. There's a number of factors that go into it, and one of the things that the district still needs to do, and that was the reason they wanted to initiate this meeting today, is they'll be required to conduct what's called an income survey, because they have to be able to show OKRA that actually the residents within the RSD meet the low to moderate income requirements associated with the OKRA grant. So I'm assuming you guys all are aware, or at least have some knowledge of the whole thing. But again, sort of chicken and the egg kind of thing. They want to ask for your assistance. They don't even know if they actually need it yet because they haven't conducted the income survey. Assuming you guys would agree to help out in the fall, they would embark on the income survey. It's approximately a 90-day process to get that taken care of. They have to expend some money because they have to hire a grant administrator to actually do the income survey. And again, there's no guarantee that the income survey will say that they actually meet the low to moderate income requirements. But, without that, they can't press forward with at least seeking out this funding. So hopefully that makes sense.
Nothing ever complicated about an OKRA grant process, right?
Yeah.
How long would this grant take, if you had a guess, to be, let's say it was approved, what's the timeline looking like before they say, yes, here's the money?
Well, that's a good question. And again, assuming you guys are okay with at least partnering with the district would embark on the income survey. 90 days, they would get the results. They would be able to report that info to you guys. But then proposals are due to OKRA by October of 23. A final application is due by the end of the year, almost Christmas. And then they would find out if they were awarded in late February of 2024. Now, that being said, they're required by the provisions of the OKRA, the grant funding, to spend all the money and complete the project within 18 months. But that is actually right in line with their current project schedule anyway. The district's also sent a application and a planning document to SRF. So they're seeking out those monies as well. They would probably be looking to close on funding by, April, May of 24, and it would be right in line with the whole grant timeline too. And then, like Harry indicated, the project in itself is basically a complete upgrade of their existing wastewater treatment facility. And like he said, it's 30 years old. It's seen better days. And again, they do have a new limit that they've gotten to that they need to address from a discharge standpoint. But again, it all sort of goes hand in hand. They need to do something at the facility. Okay.
Is that an 80/20 grant?
Well, I'm sorry. No, it actually is not. This is a straight up, if they would get the grant, it's a
100% grant?
And
That's unusual.
the loan that they are going to seek out for SRF would actually provide the match.
Okay.
So they need at least a project size of, I think it's like 1.5 million, to seek out the whole 700K. But at their project size, they've got.
Good.
So, and also too, I just want to indicate to you guys, they would also be hiring an independent grant administrator to perform all the grant administration duties. And he would guide you folks along, as well as the district, on exactly what needed to be done and when and all that stuff. And I know I'd sent an email to you guys, or at least it was forwarded on, about some of the things you might be required to do. But it's pretty benign on your end. A couple of public hearings, and all this stuff will be done in conjunction with the RSD.
So for us, just to kind of compare it, this would be literally like what we do with the Council on Aging, the DART grants. So they do everything. We approve, or you guys approve a few things county level, and then when it comes then through our office, we just send it on.
Yeah, it channels through the county,
Correct.
the money does, basically. Okay, so today you're looking for a consensus, or you're looking for to move ahead?
I think if we had some consensus that the county would back the grant process, then that would allow the RSD to move forward with the income. So that's where we're.
What do you think, gentlemen?
Well, considering how important that regional sewer district is and what they do in the east part of the county, I'm certainly in favor of helping them along. We have some pretty serious septic and sewer issues around the county. So if we can get this plant back up and rebuilt, I'm in favor of it.
What's the cost for the income study?
We actually have a proposal, and it's only $3,000.
3,000, okay, so it's not.
It's not a
100,000 or
tremendous
so.
sum
Okay.
of money, and again, they may have done it either way, but again,
Okay.
there's no sense doing it if you guys wouldn't support the grant.
No, I just want to make sure it wasn't a $100,000 study or
No.
something crazy, you know? Because what we're seeing with these grants, and yours timeline's about right anyway, because you're not ready to construct anyway till later, but what we're seeing is we're ready to build stuff, then we apply for a grant. A year later, they give us the money, but the prices went up more than what the grant was, you know? So I want to make sure we're careful not.
No, absolutely, that's a good point. But in this process, the 700 is, it's just a grant, and then we would right size the balance of the financing or the loan based upon the bids that we would receive in the spring of 24.
Makes sense.
So we wouldn't have to do any kind of thing.
Okay. Good with it then.
Can the project start before that grant is received?
I don't think I can do that. No, I think I have to have the grant in hand in order to say go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we've seen before.
So can we at least do a motion that you agree to be a sub-recipient of their award so they can go forward, or are you not at that point yet?
I'd be good with that.
We can do a motion.
So that's your motion?
I'd make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have a
Thank
motion.
you.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Proceed
you.
on with your grant.
I appreciate it.
Good
gentlemen.
luck.
Thank you so much.
Hope the study comes out favorable.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation because the RSD, doesn't have a specific geographic region that they could use census data or any of that stuff. It's just sort of specialized. And we appreciate
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Have a good day, all.
One thing before they all leave, well, I guess not, Robin might want to stay. Jack Chapman had resigned to the board for the sewer district. So they have recommended Tom Reeves to serve the remainder of his term from May through December 31st of 2026. And you guys are the appointing body for that. So we do need a motion on that.
Tom's pretty ornery. I don't know about putting him up. I would move to appoint Tom Reeves to complete the term.
Second.
Motion is second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And if you want to just slide over to the auditor's office, as soon as they sign, we'll come through and make a copy and give it right to you. And you can have this back to use later.
Thank you. Have a
Good
good
to
day.
see you, Jim.
Hey, Jim. Have a good one.
Thanks, Mike. Take care, Todd.
Okay. Let's move on with travel, get that cleaned up. Had a few, not a,
Motion to approve travel.
motion second, approved travel. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Travel is approved. The budget work. Can we go into that off schedule or?
I do have a couple
Okay,
miscellaneous things that came up.
let's do that then.
Okay, so one of them is SRI does our tax sale services for us.
Yes.
And they are raising their not cost to us, but the cost to the person that's delinquent from $100 to $125 per parcel. So we just need to approve their addendum to their agreement that we already have. It's just increasing their price.
So this is recouped at the time of sale then?
Yeah.
Or
Yep. So
redemption, one of the two?
correct. Either way. Yeah. It's not any fee to us.
Not fee to us. It's
Tacked on me.
Correct.
I make a motion to approve the increase from SRI pass-through costs.
Have a motion and a second. Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
They handle the sheriff's sale too, don't they?
They do.
So, always did a good job.
Oh, I'm so thankful that
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Because Fort Wayne does their own there. They don't use SRI. And
I
I'm like,
know. I don't know how they do it.
yeah. I wouldn't
Do you
want-
have to meet certain advertising requirements and
Yeah.
sending out certified mail and all kinds of things?
Guess I don't have anywhere to sign.
You're on the back, I think.
Oh. Oh, of course.
Put
Back
you
the
on-
bus.
Put you in your place.
Jeez.
So the other thing that
Respect.
has come up is the Waterloo Grant Township Library. I'm on their board, and it has been discovered that their appointment, Anita Deal, which is appointed by you guys, her terms have been incorrect for basically her entire time. So the director, with my help, she sent a letter and it explains what her terms should have been, and then we have them all filled out for what they should be, because currently they show her ending at the end of this year, and she really shouldn't be ending until the end of 2024 because terms weren't recorded correctly. So we're just wanting to have you guys agree to sign the, well, actually, it's just Bill, to sign these so that we can correct Anita's terms in the system so that she can serve her final year on the board.
Okay, these are all the same?
No, those are 4 different terms.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would move that we authorize the president to sign the necessary paperwork to correct the terms for Anita Deal on the Waterloo Library Board.
Second.
A motion and a second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I will sign. Right there.
So,
An officer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, what else?
that is all the extra that I have. Those are the minutes. I just started it at the other end.
That's all you had?
That is all I had. Well, I didn't hear from any of you guys on the meeting procedure resolution, so I wasn't sure if you were ready to go forward with that or not.
What do you think on the meeting procedures? I see we can change that if desired by majority vote, if there's anything we want to. It's a formality in my mind. What do you think, Andrew?
I think I was fine with the procedures. I don't know that I had any particular
Yeah.
objections to anything. Yeah. There was this right way to run a meeting guide from NACO.
Yeah.
You guys all have a copy of that? Or a,
I emailed that all to them.
okay,
Yeah, I did look that up.
all right.
It's,
Doesn't hurt to have those things in place.
And does it, does that include the idea of the meetings being run according to Robert's Rules of Order, more or less?
more or less, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not
With
sure.
motions and seconds, and
Yeah.
does it get into that level of
The
detail?
one thing that I found different that we do as a standard procedure for a lot of time, long time, is we have a discussion before the motion. Almost always.
Okay.
And then we ask for additional.
yeah, I
And what's
mean,
saying in there, you have to have the motion first and then you have the discussion. And
Yes.
that's the only part that, I
mean,
like that discussion beforehand.
Right, I think so long as you have a discussion time period before the actual vote, I don't see how anybody could say you did
Yeah,
anything
yeah. It's
illegal
not
or that
like
it had
the-
any effect, but it's always better to follow your own procedures. Or change your procedure to follow what you actually do.
Motion to approve that?
I'll move that we adopt the meeting procedure rules.
Second.
A motion and second. Any additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, I'm going to print that on good paper and bring it back in. I'm actually needed out there for a hot second, so Jody's going to take over for a moment.
Okay,
Speaking of procedures, House Bill 1167, which is the recording, the live streaming, did pass, although I looked it up and read that the governor signed it, but there was an amendment made that I missed. I didn't look at the final version. That really doesn't go into effect now until January 1st of 2025.
oh,
So if we have an equipment glitch or something, we're not in any violation at this point until, originally it was written that counties and cities had to comply July 1st of 23 and towns had until July 1st of 25. But the Senate amended it just before the final passage to make the whole thing effective 2025. So
Is there any language in there regarding the equipment failure that you can't have? If you can't record, can you still proceed with the meeting?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's covered.
That's what I was going to ask, so great question, Bill. What would happen if we had a collapse of the system?
Yeah, that is covered.
We have to
Okay.
cancel the meeting, or can we proceed?
No, as long as it's recorded and available to the public,
Okay,
you don't have
Still.
to, you don't have to cancel the meeting
right.
if your live streaming breaks down.
Because it seems like the live stream is okay, but not as robust, obviously, as the regular recording
Right.
equipment
Right.
at this point.
Okay, anything else? You have anything, Todd, Mike? Nope. I've got a couple things. Let's go into the travel policy as far as taking it off the commissioner's table. I think we need to rewrite some of that policy. And one of the suggestions I have when we write that is when in other words, you put it in department heads' hands. They submit a budget to the council, and then they approve all travel. One thing I would like to see is when they calculate the cost of that travel, that they include mileage, no matter whether it's a county vehicle or their private vehicle, because it's still costing the taxpayer X number of dollars to run these vehicles. Up and down the road, we got depreciation, got wear and tear, we got insurance, got gasoline and service on those vehicles. So I think when they approve a travel, that there's never a blank in the mileage. It's always calculated whether it's private vehicle or a county vehicle, 50 cents a mile. But then again, that's going to take some rewrite of the handbook travel policy.
I have no problem with that. It's a realistic, and it doesn't set their budget and say we're going to drive roughly this many miles a year, and that gives you an idea of what depreciation happens to a vehicle and the gas that goes in it. And
Well, and for the public record, that gives the public a real accurate
yeah,
cost-wise of what this is costing the public.
the
to send
state
these-
says
for these
51
people
cents
to
a
travel
mile or
to these-
whatever is what depreciation is. I think that should be put on.
Yeah, because it's
form.
not free. I mean,
No.
it looks like it's free, but it's not.
Yeah.
When a county, let's say hypothetically, somebody takes a county pickup truck to a seminar in Indianapolis, it needs to gas up. Do they use a county credit card, or what do they do with that?
Yeah.
That's what they would do? Okay,
Yeah. So there's no charge whatsoever. It's just 0,
okay.
but it's not 0.
Right, it's a charge to the county, but they don't have to pay it on their credit card or anything.
Now,
And I think that should be calculated by the department
Sure.
when they figure out what's this travel going to cost, and that is the
But
true
making them
cost.
include depreciation of vehicle use in their budget. So.
how is depreciation handled from an accounting standpoint on vehicles and so forth?
In our capital assets?
Yeah,
I don't know if I can exactly answer that because we have a vendor that does that all for us.
okay. Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is certainly fuel and so forth are a direct expense, and that should be counted. But if we're already taking depreciation from an accounting standpoint on all those vehicles, you don't want to figure depreciation in twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct from an accounting standpoint. From budgeting standpoint, though, I think you can say, okay, if we think we're going to do this many miles, but if you are automatically saying, okay, we're knocking off 20% depreciation on this vehicle, 5-year depreciation schedule, 7 or whatever we come up with, that would be double dipping as far as expenses go, but I'd like to know how they calculate depreciation also.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the concept,
Yeah.
as long as there's a clear way to calculate it, so we're not getting
Right.
into all kinds of,
So it might be two
Crazy.
different numbers.
Yeah.
If
It'd be
it's
two
private
different
vehicle or
numbers.
county vehicle.
yeah,
Somewhat anyway, wouldn't be a, yeah.
yeah.
But even then, I can't run my vehicle for 50 cents a mile. When you figure all in costs of everything and divide it out, it's a light number.
The only thing, if you do depreciation by mileage,
I think it's by asset life.
Yeah, so it would be,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
it's so, and then it goes down. Like I'm looking, for example, well, that one's depreciated out because it's a 2007.
Yeah, but
So-
we do have an individual depreciation schedule for every vehicle.
Yes,
Okay, all right, that's where, yeah,
yes.
the only thing is though, this is additional miles on top of what that vehicle might accumulate if it wasn't used for department travel. So what I'm saying is, yeah, you depreciate a vehicle not only by age, but by mileage. So there should be some additional depreciation because of the additional miles that's being put on that vehicle.
that makes sense. You're fully depreciating that vehicle probably over a 7-year period is my guess. So you're actually taking it to zero. So how do you add additional cost to zero? I guess when if you're taking it down to zero.
I can- yeah,
And that has to be, but that's in your mind though, that, hey, it costs money to have these vehicles that we wear out to travel in. And if we didn't travel, we wouldn't wear them out as quick. So
Yeah.
I see both sides of
Yeah,
this.
that's
I
where
just
I'm
want,
ki-
like
where I'm
Mike
at.
said though, I don't want to double dip it,
Oh.
but they need to be cognizant that they wouldn't have to replace these vehicles as often if we didn't use them for those type of runs.
Right.
So,
Well, and it's something maybe, like say, it's two different numbers and we
Yeah.
just may have to kind of work.
but I'd
through
like to
that.
see the,
Okay, I came in the middle of this, depending who it is, what department is, what their job is, then it's also gonna go into a fringe benefit that they're gonna have to be taxed on.
right?
So
Yeah,
like the sheriff's department, all those that have the vehicles, that is part of their job that is not a taxable benefit to them. Also because they're part of law enforcement, but like Ben Parker, and there's 2 or 4 at the sheriff's department that are allowed to take home county vehicles because they're allowed to take them home. They are taxed on them on their
Yes.
income each time. So depending, if I take a county vehicle to travel, that's a benefit, so I have to be taxed on that. So that also is gonna figure into
well,
how that goes.
you really can't figure that in the department budget because it's not an expense. I mean, what you really want, Bill, is a report, monthly, semi-annually, annually, of how many miles were used for travel for a vehicle that's assigned to a particular department. But you can't put it in the budget because it's not an expense. It's just a notation. I mean, it doesn't come out of their, if somebody drives the vehicle, it doesn't, the depreciation part, the fuel would,
Yeah,
but
fuel.
depreciation doesn't,
Okay.
they don't pay for that
Yeah.
out of their budget, so it's gonna skew the budget numbers. As I stop to think about that. But I think a report.
Because I wouldn't be getting paid for mileage plus using the vehicle.
Yeah. See,
So when we pay for the mileage, that's the budget part of it.
Yeah.
But using the vehicle isn't a budget part, it would just be a tax that I pay in my payroll.
Okay.
well, that's two different issues though. That's you paying tax on a benefit. I'm talking about the expense to the county of using the vehicle. Those are two different, but
So, right, yeah. But it would be the paying of the mileage of a non-county vehicle, that's the budget part.
so, report on whatever kind of interval you might want to put that on that says, okay, we drove, this vehicle was used for training or for travel expense, or travel X number of miles for this month or this quarter or whatever.
Yeah,
I think would be realistic.
I like
think.
the idea of a report better than throwing into a budget a certain amount of travel. And the reason being is I can review that report then and say, hey, we did, for training, we put on 23,000 miles on this vehicle this year.
Yeah.
Is that really smart? You know what I'm saying? I think a report on the use would be better than probably the budget.
Okay.
Just because that's real data. It drove this much, and then I can tell you what that cost us, especially on the vehicle.
Yeah, and throwing it into every travel request, it
Yeah.
really isn't gonna be, unless you sit there and add up every single travel request you get, it's not gonna tell you anything, but a report will give you the actual information that you're looking for.
Driving an F-250 to Indy is not a smart idea. It's 13 miles a gallon too, you know, so,
We'd be better off to pay him to drive his own vehicle,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
out of pocket,
Yeah.
taxpayer
Yeah.
money.
I like the idea though of having reports on total mileage and each trip. You know, because if you own your own vehicle in a business and you use it for business, you're supposed to write,
Well, you have to have that
went
information
to
for IRS.
Fort Wayne to
yeah.
pick up a part for a truck, went here, I mean, you're supposed to be detailed records.
Yeah.
And if they're concerned at all, they say, well, that was probably personal, you're gonna pay, you know, so I'd like to see those, I think a detailed mileage report would give us a real idea on how much we wear out vehicles on
Okay.
this type of travel.
Okay. How do we proceed as far as rewriting that in the handbook then? Does that go through Dottie?
What do you think here, Susan? How do we handle that if we want to rewrite that, like in the,
In the travel policy?
yeah?
Yes.
Do we just make an amendment to the travel policy that,
Okay.
so it's something like, saying it isn't a motion, but this is the motion, be like, commissioners are requiring, mileage logs, with totals in certain categories. You know, we can make categories, training, state called meetings, whatever, you know, ones they have to, you know, and I'd like to actually have a little bit of depth to it so we can analyze the data more than just traveled.
Probably gonna have to be department level,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
because we're
I
not
think-
gonna be able to know.
yeah. I think we
All
need
of
to
that.
talk about, maybe get with Susan, let Susan think about this, talk to the department saying, you know, what categories do we make?
Don't want to make it overly complicated.
Yeah, you don't want to have-
But we want the data there.
You don't want 58 categories, obviously, because people
Yeah.
they'll just give up and say, you know, training.
Yeah.
But I'd say 4 or 5 categories, keep it simple, and then we can really see where our cars are going.
Yeah.
And what for.
And the other thing, department heads approve that travel.
Yeah, and they approve it, but we want the report of where they went.
Right.
I like that idea better than approving travel. Let them approve all the travel they want. Give me a
There's no
report
point in
where
us-
you went.
There's no point in
Because that way, when they ask for new cars and stuff, we can say, wait a minute, we're using it, yeah, you need a new car. You guys are using it a lot, you know, if it's all travel to go to meetings, then,
Yeah.
you know, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's think about that on what we make the categories, get with Susan, let her talk to department heads and come up with a short list.
Right.
I'm good with that.
And then make those changes. Okay. Budget work, 9:30.
Okay, here's the meeting policy signature page.
Budget.
The little paper I handed you today, that is
You.
the ARPA funds. And then at the black line separates which accounts they had moved into, and it kind of tells you what they are for.
Okay, Susan, what are we needing to do with that specifically today?
Well,
Just
that is something
information.
that I'll have to budget for next year. So I will be able to go through and estimate what's already been spent from those categories, what like the highway's gonna be spent. So I won't need to budget those for next year, but I'll have to appropriate. So those are the categories that appropriations would be going into. So if you guys are all fine with this, and then with me estimating from what's been spent to what will be spent in 2022, and then estimating the appropriate, I mean, I'll probably end up estimating high, but then it will be appropriated and we don't have to do an additional appropriation. We just don't spend it if the money is not there. And it still can be transferred if needed, but those are the accounts that I would
Could
be
still be
putting them in.
transferred. Yeah, I guess I have a question. We got County Road 56 coming up next year.
Yep.
If we don't have the money to match that grant, can we pull money out of this to do that? If we have some categories we don't see as going to be funded, and that money be pulled out of this and applied to that 56 grant?
Yes, we can.
Because I think that's all your guys'
Yeah,
ability.
that was I just wanted to clarify it because we could be
Big deal.
it could
Oh,
be a
yeah,
deal where
we're-
we have to come
We're
up with.
definitely upside down on that right now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and there are some categories there I can see where, yeah, we could
Well,
very
from the
well.
solar contingency there,
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
That's one that's possibility, maybe some out of the Sunny Meadows.
Well, we're not gonna spend 500,000 on the tower
Right,
either, so
towers
there's
another,
probably
Yeah.
300,000 there.
yeah. So, yeah, that's, that was just one clarification on that.
keep a little powder dry there just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
50
we need to fall back.
56 is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, we need a fallback plan for 56, and I don't see any other way except some of these
So
funds.
for 2024, out of the upgrades, if I do 300, whatever, I mean, I can go ahead and put that into a grant match account, or we can just transfer it next year.
Yeah, let's just wait and see what the actual
And then I could
numbers
just do
are.
one transfer together.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that'll work.
okay,
See what the numbers are and then act.
okay. All right, so I will take care of that part.
Okay.
So the first section on the larger printout is county general for commissioners. The top few there, I've already filled in because council is going to do wages and whatnot.
Right,
Then the orange ones, I'll do once I get everything. Then everything else, unless I have a note by it, you guys have to decide, do you want it the same? Do you want it increased? Do you want it not there?
actually, I want to go back up to Commissioner's Attorney.
Yes. Oh, I did have a question on that.
I guess I'm of the opinion, kind of, by the work we seem to throw at Andrew, it's that maybe we should bump that up,
I would
Do what?
certainly
up
agree
the
with
attorney
it.
fees for Andrew.
Well, I was thinking about cutting him.
What is your,
He's so efficient, you know, why would we pay him more?
it seems like we thrown a lot on his plate.
I'm kidding with you,
in just a little while.
Yes, and I had put that value in there from his contract
Yeah.
that you guys originally had, but yeah, you guys,
Yeah,
I would agree we're a little light. I
Yeah.
believe, considering that all the activity that we've put on his
Yeah.
plate and
He kind of
certainly
stepped
with
into
the response that we're, that Andrew's putting into this.
Yeah.
I would agree.
yeah, idea on number? Yeah, let's see.
48,500. Testing the wind here.
Well, our original thought when we were doing this whole attorney thing was 50.
Yeah.
And I think that's certainly a good place to go.
50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right around theirs.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be thankful for that, so.
Okay.
I've enjoyed working with everybody, and certainly I got, I jumped in at the deep end there at the beginning of the year. Things have eased up a little bit from January, but I've enjoyed the job, and I hopefully, I've tried to be responsive when people call in and so forth, and I think
Well, I
it
agree.
seems like that's worked out, so.
Done a great job. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'd be good with
Thank you.
50.
50, let's go
Wow, thank
50.
you.
And a comment on the Sunny Meadows thing, the call to the particular people that had the fella show up out there and do that inspection, and
Yeah.
he was not even supposed to be there.
Wrong spot.
No, wrong spot, and I'm not sure how that happened, but I finally, as I was just talking with the lady, got escalated up to what I think is the local Fort Wayne director, and they're looking at their information and viewing it as a residential home, and and they asked me, you guys are still that or something? I said, well, I think that, yeah, they've,
Yeah,
still considers themselves that, and she said, okay. She apologized to me for sending anybody and said he won't be back out.
yeah.
So it was a pretty clear change of
The
policy.
residential facility, and we have to not muddy the waters with any other
Yeah.
description, and so just something to keep in the back.
Well, and then I emailed Angela about that too, and I think
Right.
I copied you guys on that, just to say,
I think we want
Wanna
to
keep us-
go ahead.
I just want to keep the communication on that, clear as to what it is.
Yeah, and I think we want to make sure that Angela's clear on the fact that if somebody just pops in, she could certainly just make a phone call to
Yeah,
you
yeah,
or
just
one
call
of the
the,
commissioners before she
Yeah.
lets anybody in.
Yes.
why don't I even just email her this morning?
Yeah.
Start an email here at least, Angela Brown, is it, I guess?
Yes.
Yes. I will do that, and just say, hey, if anybody else shows up from the state, just have them call me.
Yeah.
And not necessarily let them into the institution unless they have a court order or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I agree.
Amen.
Not that we necessarily have anything to hide, but I mean,
Right.
that's just good.
Go
good
through the county
policy.
attorney first if they want to come.
Well, if you
or
you
investigate.
walk into any regulated facility, nursing home or anything else, they're not going to let you through the door without checking with their, running it up
Right,
the
you would think
flagpole.
so.
So,
Yes.
I don't,
Right.
that's not anything out of the ordinary.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Susan, moving on down, sorry.
no, you're fine. No, I'm glad you said that because I did have that question also. Everything else is up to you guys. So you just kind of need to tell me if you want it to stay the same, if you want more, if you want me to
I want more.
base it on, I
My
know you
striped.
do.
Yeah, I want about
If you want me
500.
to base it off of what you have spent so far this year and estimate it as I would mine if I think you're gonna need more for your budget or not. The mental health one, that one will come. I mean, we don't have that number yet. Those like Children's First Center, RISE, Alliance Industries, some of those, Humane Shelter, that's gonna be up to you guys on if you're keeping it the same or if you're,
Didn't we make a change on the Humane and Rise and Alliance Industries?
Yeah, we evened those out, so they're all,
the Humane wasn't in there.
No.
Maine, we left where it was.
That's-
We leveled out Rise
Okay.
and we gave more to the
Alliance.
work industry, Alliance.
Alliance,
Yeah.
okay.
So I have those with a red box around
Yeah.
them. And they were all at 34,000 for this year.
Okay.
and I think that's a good spot for them
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah, I don't think we need to change those any.
Liability insurance, where we're at on that this year.
That went up, Mike and Kyle were just in about that not too long ago.
Yeah, it was fairly
That was
low,
up
though. It did go-
8%, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't
if I-
too much, if I remember right. But it did go up because we had higher insured values, too.
Yeah.
Our building values went up.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Inflation inflates our building value, inflates our insurance
Insurance,
costs.
sure it does.
Ain't that sweet?
Yeah, well, they're insured, they have more liability for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's got to follow. It's just the start point is what's
yeah.
troubling.
Everyone gets all excited about their house going up in value. I'm like, no, you do not want your house to go up in value. Your insurance goes up, your taxes will go up.
Everything goes up.
Everything goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will be doing a transfer this year in
Okay.
your liability account.
Okay. I'm good with my salary at the top there. I'm fine. We jumped it last year, didn't we, a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
3%.
if you wanted to increase it by whatever the 3% or 2, I wouldn't oppose that. I'm happy with it the way it is, so.
Well, I think, said the same thing last year. I think if you want to have quality people willing to do these jobs, there's certainly the component of giving back to the community too, and I very much subscribe to that. But, if you're attracting people to run for office, it's tough enough these days, and to find somebody that qualified to do the work when you and I get old enough that we're going to step down. I think we need to, particularly with Monday meetings, somebody's got to be able to take off work or be in a position where they're making enough money to cover that. I think considering the amount of time that we all put into this,
Well, there's no doubt there.
I certainly don't feel that it's unfair to go with whatever the council recommendation is, the 5% or whatever they were talking about.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't turn it down. I'm just saying I'm good.
Yeah.
I would tell council if they want to throw us a little bone, great. If not, I'm not going to gripe about it. So.
Yeah, I'm same way.
And I agree with Mike, though, and, to get good people. This is this isn't a $28,000 job year, it's a $100,000 job if to do it right.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest, who could you get to, handle a 230, 40 employee, $40 million budget but then again, we're also not full-time CEOs, so.
Is that 5%, is that cap? Is that,
That's what they're suggesting, is just to keep the budget
By the
within
state.
5%.
Yeah. Like I said, I won't oppose it, but I would just throw at them, give us what you think we're worth.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
If you leave us, I'm not gonna gripe. If you raise
Yeah,
us,
they
I'm
had,
not gonna gripe.
had me tell the departments not to mess with their wages, and then
Okay.
they're going to
Do that.
work with whatever
That's
they
fine.
decide to go with. Now, if there was, if you are dead set, hey, I want 5%, I can always request that. It just doesn't mean that they're going to
No.
approve it. But I will let them know what
Let's
you all
let
said
them
about
decide.
that.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, let them decide.
fine.
They're the financial end. Let's let them decide.
Yeah. Okay. We have travel, $1,500. That's for commissioners, I take it.
Yes.
Where are we at on that this year?
And that's only for commissioners, right? That's for-
Right.
Correct.
That when we check the box, commissioners travel, that comes out of.
No,
Oh,
that's not checking the box. Well,
I mean, on the travel form, if we check
It's
commissioner
basically
travel.
just for you three.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
So we will be well, okay, it's for you three, and you guys agreed to pay for the treasurer's monthly
Go to the bank.
to the bank runs.
Oh, yeah, which I get.
So, well, I'll be doing a transfer. We're through the 1,500.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think? We will bump that too. We're through the 1,500, not through half the year.
Has it been a exceptional year for travel, or is it just because, how much of that is due to the treasurer, us reimbursing them for
I think
that?
that was due.
That'll be like 360 for the year.
Oh, okay.
It's $30 a month.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it's mileage because of meetings.
Maybe bump it up another 500 or 1,000, I don't know. I know you say we're not halfway through the year and through it, but maybe it won't be quite as tight next year. And talk about small amounts here too, so.
Yeah, and I need to talk with Rick Ring. I'm having a moment here. And it might just be council. There might be a council, and I'm not sure about commissioners, might be able to be paid out of our county elected officials training fund. They were in the middle of whether they were approving that or not down at state. So that might have some bearing on it also.
Comments?
And the travel still?
Yes.
I think we ought to bump it $1,000.
Okay. 2,500?
Yeah.
Do 2,500. Let me look at one. Yeah, and we've done all of it out of, the line above it is webinars without travel. We just pay everything out of the travel training and education. So I don't even know if we need to do that and just keep it in one account. Would be
Just in
my
one?
suggestion, yeah.
So that'd take it
So
to
maybe we would
3,000
just
total?
put it 3,000 and get rid of the one above it.
Do that?
Yes.
Okay, one above it, get rid of, and just combine the two at 3,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So that, you'll see the account, let's see, 2 down from that. The 150,000. So I'm trying to plan. I don't know that it'll even be used because as they're doing projects, then obviously we pay for their fees out of that money. But if for some reason they complete stop it, then it's in the agreement that we have to pay that back.
Right.
Sure.
So I'm planning
Just the unused part.
for, right, just the unused part, correct. So I'm planning for it, but it might just be a placeholder and never used.
Well,
And I don't know how many more,
I did send you an invoice from Baker Tilly, so at
Yeah.
least that much is going to get used. And-
right, yeah,
And I know Rick Hall's been doing some work for us too, so at least some of that's going to get used.
right. And I don't know, as of right now, we don't have any other fully executed agreements of that. But if there's other companies that do, there's a possibility that we'd have others for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all part of the requirement when a development plan is submitted,
Yeah.
that has to be paid.
Okay.
So it's just running total for the year, and
Yeah,
I mean, there's really no way you can budget very accurately for that. So as long as the money's in the bank, we're good.
exactly. Council on Aging, good with where it's at or want to
Yeah.
change it? Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
Are you, Bill?
Yeah, I'm good. Maumee River Basin. What do we get for that? Any idea? I mean, I know it has to do with drainage, but basically, or where's that money go? What
So
does it do?
looks like we pay it in 2 allotments
Installments,
to the commission, to the Maumee River Basin
Yeah,
Commission, but I don't know
and,
anything else.
So that's Adams, Allen, Steuben, Noble, DeKalb, and LaGrange are all members of that. And, I mean, they do a lot of drainage work, like all that Cedar Creek log jam stuff, that was all paid for
Out of that.
out of Maumee River Basin Commission.
Okay,
So, and I'm on that board. I go to all the meetings and
okay.
keep an eye on things, so. Rod Rankenberger is a great resource
Yeah.
on a number of things.
Yes, I agree. Okay,
And it's been that amount since 2009.
Yeah,
really?
It's been that same,
I remember you talking about that. Last year, we discussed this.
Is that set, every county paid basically the same, or is that different per county, by county? Probably don't know or have that information.
I don't know, but I can get that information and report back.
Yeah, given the fact we haven't increased that since 2009,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're using the money wisely, I'm not opposed to bumping that a little bit, maybe.
Well, I will tell you for sure that Rod is extremely frugal.
I got
Yeah.
that from his
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah,
a
he is,
couple weeks ago,
he
yeah.
is just adamant about making sure he gets the most value for every penny he
Yeah,
spends.
yeah. Let's look into that and see what those other numbers are, and maybe have that next week.
Yeah.
That works, Susan? Okay. Okay, what's next, Susan? Highway?
so, yeah, and the last one will probably not be a budget item next year, because most of that, if not all of it, will be spent on
That's-
the
that would be
highway
gone.
issue
Right.
and something.
Yeah.
So that will
That'll disappear.
disappear.
That'll
Yeah.
be 0.
Okay, so let's skip the next blue one for a minute. Actually, go to the second to last page, the yellow.
The yellow?
Yeah, so that is the courthouse part of your budget. And that's pretty much all up to you on percentage-wise that you want to, or dollar amount, however you want to, if you want to do anything with the janitorial. I did put in some overtime because our new full-time employee is he's non-exempt, so he will have some overtime. And everything else is just kind of up to you guys, or an estimate by whatever we've spent this year.
Where are we at on electric? I know we dropped that back a couple of years ago, a little bit, maybe.
So for electric, we have spent almost 38,000.
Oh, okay.
So far this year?
Yes, and that includes it includes April. that we're paid today.
A little light there, obviously, aren't
So we've
Hey,
got,
It's the third of the year.
we? We're not even halfway through the year. and-
Oh, yeah, April's the third. So that's
February, March.
104,000,
Yeah.
114,000. Yeah.
We'll bump that up to 115.
That'd probably be a good call.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll meet with Chris Zerniak later this week about the natural gas.
Oh,
so on the natural gas,
Yeah.
so far we've spent 22,130
This year,
this year. So that's,
22,130.
yeah, so that's going to be short also.
Okay.
And it's 10 o'clock. We need to pledge.
Oh, my God.
how we do?
Yeah, because I noticed
We're having so much fun.
I know, right?
natural gas.
We got
is
so
just the
involved.
opposite of what I thought it would do. It's at 220 a therm right now. It got as high as 10. So we might want to lock into a bunch while it's low, natural gas.
I think that would be a
It's at 220. I think we ought to go all in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Hedge 100% of it. Or close to it. 220, I mean, I think it'd be foolish not to. 24 last.
you.
I know I was chilly.
Okay, when I came in, I didn't even know what to do with them because they were just blowing like nonstop, and I thought they were on off. So then I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing.
But it's all in the temperature.
So I played around with it. Yeah.
Okay. Ben.
Morning.
Got today. Mic's on. Mine's not on. Now
Oh
it
yeah, I
is.
turned everybody's off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning, I have a couple of forms that you guys need to sign, or Bill needs to sign today on behalf of the county for Foresight Engineering to do work, for us to do the work on the NDOT right-of-way there for Waterloo. NDOT sent a consent form for us to sign, and then a bond and permit fee waiver form for us to sign in order for Foresight to apply to finish our application. So I printed both of them off today. The one needs notarized. It's one spot to sign, so I imagine Bill can sign on behalf of the commissioners. But if I could get those done, I can get that sent back in. They can get our permit coming from the state.
Okay, this is for Foresight to what? I'm sorry, Ben.
This is for Foresight. The commissioners agreed to let them do a permit, right-of-way permit on the NDOT right-of-way under the commissioner's name for the contractors working on the new highway department.
NDOT right-of-way permit. Thank you.
Need a motion for that?
I'll get this someday.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Make
we
a
need a
motion to have the president sign the application for Foresight on the NDOT permit.
I will second.
A motion and a second on the floor. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. I will sign.
You want to come down and work on mine next?
Out of money after this. How long does yours take to do?
I don't know.
You spend 2 or 3 weeks on it.
I could, but I hadn't even started it yet. That's my agenda this afternoon.
When's it due?
Next Friday.
Oh.
Haven't touched it yet.
No, Susan? Okay, what's next, Ben?
Just FYI for you, the pipe on County Road 43 is installed in. Good. Finally, the road is open. We have to put the guardrail back up on the west side yet, and then since we have it, we'll probably put a little piece back on the east side. We gotta do something, either put a drop end in there or curvature on there. Right now, it's just got a blunt end parallel to the road that runs down 43. But that was put in Friday, the road was opened up Friday, so we'll get the guardrail done, and that will be complete project.
Good deal. Big pipe.
It was a big pipe. Yeah, they had a little bit of issue getting it in there, but they got it, and worked out well. I have quotes today that I submitted out for the FDR for County Road 54. I did receive 3 quotes back. For the spec, or the advertisement, it was 10:30. I suppose I probably ought to wait till 10:30 to open those. Today is our first day, 10-hour day, so
back at.
daylight savings time starting all over again,
Yeah.
that extra hour, so.
So they do 4-day shifts then, or
4
4-day
10-hour
weeks?
days.
Okay, all right.
But other than that, I don't think I got much for you guys today. Other than opening this up and hopefully moving forward with that. I don't know if you guys had anything for me?
Maybe there's two commissioners to be aware that we have a driveway variance application coming in next week. Hill is his name, Jack Hill. And it's, doesn't look real good. I've been out and looked at it. If you want to look at it, it's 2648, just west of 2648 County Road 20. And the problem is, there's a drive already on the east side. There's a bridge there on Cedar Creek. The driveway right next to the bridge on the east side. It probably has, what, 200 feet of line of sight? Maybe 300. It's not very.
It's not much, I don't know
It's not
what it
much.
is.
And now the son wants to put a drive on the other side of the creek. And it runs 440 and 470, just underneath the 500. And to stay away from the creek, if he goes one way or the other, if he encroaches in the right of way, he's going to lose distance on one end. He'll gain on one end, but lose on the other, because it goes both ways and dip.
Problem with that is if we approve variances, land's gonna be all over us, in which I would expect them to be. In
Yeah.
other words, you approve one for one guy and not another,
Yeah.
that's a slippery slope.
I gotta check with the surveyors and see if there's even room in there for a house. There's not a lot of room between the 75 feet off the
Oh,
bank edge of the creek and the property line behind on the other side. There's not a lot of room in there. I'm not sure there's room for a house. Even go in there without a variance on Cedar Creek. And I don't think you'll get a variance because it's probably going to need that. You have to go in there and do any work.
In general, I am always inclined to defer to the expertise of the department head. I mean, that's what we pay you for, and I can go out there and look at it, and then it doesn't mean anything to me, but
You know, it
you
don't,
know what you're doing.
the downgrade's not figured into that site distance.
Yeah.
That would increase it. And ultimately, that bridge where it sits, there's 2 drives on the east side, nothing on the west side. And we need to take in consideration when we look at these driveways, when that bridge gets rehabbed, they won't have ingress or egress out of their drives on one side or the other without more expense to the county for the contractor to maintain that. And when we do a bridge, you're looking at a closure of 60 to 90 days. You know, because you go out here to Bridge 9 and go out there and look at how much room that takes up,
that is amazing.
you know, and so ultimately that drive for that plot would have to be further to the west where it don't encroach on that bridge. Construction, when that happens, and then that makes that site distance substantially shorter.
Yeah.
To the west. Yeah.
I want to help these people as much as possible, but like I said, if you start saying, well, that one's only 50 foot under, so we can get away with that,
Yeah.
it's either qualifies or it doesn't, is the way I look at it.
Well, and that actually drops off into that, where he wants to come off of that road, it drops down probably
Right.
3 or 4 foot. He's
Which
got
adds
to
to
build
the
that up,
distance.
because if he leaves it an upgrade, his sight distance is going to be even worse.
Yeah.
So he'd have to be able to fill that all in to get that elevation for the vehicle.
And I suspect Andrew will agree, there's always a substantial opportunity for unnecessary liability thrown on the county when you start making exceptions to accepted standards, especially for
Yeah.
for engineering and road safety and so forth, so.
It seems like there would be risk for engineering of site distances and anything else that you do for your roads.
Well, he didn't seem to want to take Ben's word for it, and I said, yeah, we'll look at it, and
Oh, yeah, we gotta give them the opportunity to present,
Yeah,
but
that's what I felt like.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just want to make sure that we don't, because we've told Mr. Land no, and there's been talk of
Yeah,
that going further, and
Yeah.
boy, and rightly so, if I was Mr. Land and one got approved that didn't qualify, I would be here screaming at us. And so
Right.
yeah.
I think we got to be
For
very
sure.
careful there.
For sure. Whether or not that is an absolute legal argument to give it to him, it's certainly something that judges look at that erodes, they're thinking in the back of their mind, well, the county's approved 5 other driveways that were lower, so
Yeah.
why did you target him? But that's
Right.
not what we're doing, so,
Right.
yeah.
Anytime you make that first concession and set a precedent,
Yeah.
you're just, you're opening cans of worms that are not necessarily good to open.
And, and then the argument comes from the landowners that, well, I can point out 50 driveways that don't comply. Yes, we know. Those should have never been approved, but just because a past sin was made doesn't mean we need to continue with it. We eventually have to correct things.
Ironically, the driveway that is there is the fellow's parents.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
So
saying,
it's
yeah.
just like, they're gonna say, well, we got this drive, well,
Shouldn't have,
you
though.
shouldn't have gotten, that one is really bad.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is really bad. It's a sharp little hill, somebody comes down through there, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't know how long, that house has been there a while.
Yeah, that house is almost covered by trees.
Really?
I went on Beacon because I couldn't see it on the tax map, so I had to go on the maps.
Catch it in the winter up here.
And I had to zoom way in on it, and finally I could see just a little bit of the roof. It's almost covered by tree canopy. It's almost invisible. So
Wow.
I can't imagine the amount of mildew they have on their roof.
Oh, yeah. You want your roof to have sunshine on it.
Andrew has a question for you.
Just a little technicality with the notary. I'm supposed to, do you swear that the information on this NDOT consent form, do you swear that it's true? And this is your signature on here. And do you
Okay,
swear that it's true? The information, it was all approved? Okay, sounds good. I'll notarize it.
I would ask for his ID to make sure he really is
I might be.
I know him from other contexts, so here.
personally known
So,
to you,
yeah,
right?
personally known to me, so I'm good.
All right.
Just trying to be technically correct.
Could be an imposter, you don't know.
I trust that it's Bill sitting over
Like
there.
Scooby-Doo, let's try to rip his mask off.
Hey,
That's funny. You swear? Nope.
wait a minute, what am I swearing to?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you already did. Too late. You know the drill.
You already signed to the truth of it, so.
Doke. Scan them to you.
Hey.
What's the chances of them getting that Okra grant for Spencerville?
Really depends on the other application since it's a competitive grant, but I would say probably pretty good.
Income-wise, I would think they would.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I
yeah, I
was.
don't think there'll be any issues with that. And considering how old that plant is and the
Condition.
need for the upgrades, I think they got a pretty good shot at it.
Now, do they bill, if it's something I forgot to ask them, do they bill as a town? Does the town bill the residents for their sewer service? It's not a private sewer then, it's town, the
Yeah.
town
Right,
owns
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a
yeah,
sewer
they have a
district.
sewer. And that's probably gonna go up, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
have to. Okay,
Okay.
We're at 10:30.
10:30, we'll open up these quotes for County Road 54.
Is this for resurfacing?
No, this is for FDR, where we'll go through and grind it and put cement into the base.
Okay,
And then we'll seal over it.
I see.
Whoa. So I have one quote from Engineered Soils. Total price $228,032.35.
Oh,
That's clink.
how much distance are we talking road?
It was we're just over a mile,
Oh,
1.30.
okay.
What's that? $228,032.35.
It's clink.
Well, it was engineered soils, but that's through Clink. One from Specialties. Total amount, $143,624.70.
Wow.
70 cents? I don't know.
Oh,
That's going to break the bank.
this one's 7.
The other one was only 35 cents at the
Yeah.
end, so that's half the.
Yeah, because see, their Clink was $14.95 a square yard. And they're $7.95 a
Wow.
square yard. Half the price.
Oh, that's a
Hopefully
big.
they measure a square yard the same way.
Yeah, is that 3 and 3, right? I mean, we got the,
Well, sometimes.
yeah,
You don't do math, how that goes.
yeah.
I have one from Mount Carmel Stabilization.
You say Mount?
Mount, MT Carmel, Carmel. $160,919.15. They're at $10.55 a square yard.
And all of this is, we've stated the actual work that needs to be done to a standard, and they wrote their bids according to the standard, correct?
I pulled the standard out of the NDOT book. NDOT section 307-R-657.
Okay.
With the exception of these items.
Okay.
So they did have a spec to follow. They did not include the MOB and DMOB. There's a lot of difference in cost in that. That's probably broken into their unit price.
Assuming they all bid the same thing, it seems like a fairly obvious choice here.
Yeah.
Not like we're within, not even with- yeah, we're not even within 5% here.
Any recommendations, Ben, or you want to go through all this? before
That's
you
what I was
come-
looking at real quick. Specialties is definitely the low bid for the work we need done. Says quote valid for 15 days. So I would make a recommendation that we accept the quote from Specialties. Because they've got the tilling 8 inches at 5% cement. And that's what we had, 5% by dry weight. They didn't specify the 41.5 pounds, but that's the standard. Should be fine.
Have you ever used Specialties before for any county work?
Specialties does all of our guardrails and things.
Okay.
I have not done the full depth reclamation with them. I know Mark has through Noble County, but we have not. But yeah, we've used Specialties quite a little bit on
I was
projects.
just to make sure they were an okay company, you know.
I'd move that we accept the highway superintendent's recommendation and engage Specialties for the work.
Second.
A motion and second. Additional comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. It is Specialties.
You can go ahead and sign that one, Bill, if you want. Basically, we went-
65,000 difference, or no, 80.
we went from $7.95 a square yard to
Yeah.
$10.55 a square yard to $14.95 a square yard.
$85,000 difference between.
Where's that stretch of road? I forget.
South side of Garrett between 327 and 17.
17.
Oh, I know where that's at.
We converted that a few years ago, and it's got soil issues down through there. I wanted to get that done before the 56 project,
Yeah.
because that road's gonna get
gonna
utilized
get
pretty
used.
It's not
hard.
gonna work out.
Right.
So, will do, man.
And they
So we
come in, they
will-
till that road bed and incorporate that concrete
Yes.
or the
And then
cement.
we'll probably haul a little bit more material on it as well,
Yeah,
that we will haul.
you'll haul
And then
that.
they will till it, we will grade it, and then, grade it out, compact it, it'll have to set. I'll probably close that road during this operation. To allow the residents through, but we'll barricade that off, we'll send out notices to all the residents along the property, let them know the process, let them know what we're doing. And, so then once that's done, then we'll go through and probably do a triple seal on that.
Triple.
Yeah. And then that should take care of that road. Hoping. It should, it's a pretty good process to do. I think we'll be good with it.
Okay. Where are we at on County Road 38? Chip and
We're
seal.
stoning it today.
You are? Oh, good deal.
Yep, there's nice. He asked about County Road 38, where we was at on that. Like, I got the guys hauling stone on that road today. So they'll be on that. We'll try to get most of it done this week. Stoned. Compacted, and then we'll have calcium put on that. And then leave it set for a little while, then
That'll get a double. Yeah. Okay.
so. Always something. We're moving forward.
Still man short, according to Dottie. Not much moving on that.
No, not much.
Yeah.
Tough labor market.
It is. Well, you know, there's a lot of job opportunities out there right now. Zachary, I talked to him last week. They pay just their standard labor is $35 an hour. You know, and that's the labor, CDL driver, and then their operators, I think he told me was $44 an hour. And they're not union. That's just what they pay. He said, 'cause we get union jobs over in Ohio, or prevailing wage. He said, I can't split my crews up and then keep them happy. And he says this, most of the time I keep my employees and they work hard because they like the extra pay and the benefits, and you know, it works out pretty well. And then my bookkeeper, her husband worked for Brooks, so they still get the emails from Brooks. But they're hiring right now for $32 an hour for dump truck driver, and upwards of 35 for dump truck / paving crew with a $3,000 sign-on bonus. You know, that's just right out here,
Yeah.
you know.
That's too close.
I know, it is.
Competition's one thing, competition that close is another.
I know it, exactly. So, I mean, it just depends, you know, and then you always hear Walmart out here, their distribution center, their truck drivers paying $100,000 a year.
They're all six-figure guys out there.
Yeah. You know, of course, I don't know what duration they have. I don't know the details of how much they're in and out. If it's all local, I don't know all them details, but I know UPS is hiring at a good wage. You know, if you're into delivery. So, I mean, there's just a lot of options right now. I mean, and
You can hire on as a home every night pedal run driver for 75, 80,000 a year now.
you know, it's just amazing the numbers I hear that the jobs are paying right now compared to where it just was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and thankfully I've got a lot of loyal employees, you know,
Yes.
that really, but you know, at the end of the day, they've got bills to pay.
That's right.
None of them's looking. I'm afraid if they was and seen what was out there, it might entice and be a little bit different, but as long as I can keep them happy, maybe I can keep them from looking and they won't go. But the highway department we've got a great crew of guys down there. I'm really blessed to have the department I have that works the way they do, working together, and that makes the whole county fortunate to have that.
Yeah. Well, and we've supplied them with some newer equipment now and soon to come a new facility, and I'm sure that, they feel like, yeah, we care. And it's about efficiency. It seems like, well, we spend a lot of money, but still, it's going to pay back in the long run. It's going to take a few years, but
When you gotta have the right tools, there's nothing more.
Yeah,
When I go
well-
in our shop and work and I don't have the right tool, it just ruins my day, and it sucks to buy that $10,000 piece of equipment or whatever, but man, when you have it in a nice new facility, I think will raise the
Yeah.
morale, not that we have a morale problem, but it would be like, hey, I enjoy coming to this building, I enjoy.
well, equipment-wise,
Yeah,
you
new
have
equipment.
downtime. We only
No.
got so many months to get these jobs done.
Yeah.
And downtime, you just can't have it. You're not going to get it done if you've got downtime. So you got to
need to
have
look at-
some,
I think the vast majority of our constituents want to see the county run professionally, and they want, efficient operation that gives them the services that they're paying taxes for, so.
I think here we're gonna have to look at buying our own roller too, a bigger one. I had one reserved for today and it didn't come through. So we're using one of our old wheel rollers out there on 38 today, but we need a bigger roller with a vibrostat for these type application. That vibrostat just makes the difference.
Is that the computer that tells how
Then-
long to roll or whatever?
Then that's an economizer, that's an option when you go
Oh.
newer. No, the vibrastat's just what vibrates.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Compacts the heck out of it.
Our
Cause that
big-
that mini one we got had that
It's got a
economizer,
vibrostat.
and it had an economizer in it too, right? We got that extra.
And that thing's worth its weight in gold for its applications, but when you're out rolling
It's not big
mile or
enough.
2
though.
miles of
big enough.
stretch of road, we do have a big roller, but it has no vibrostat. It's just roller and that vibrostat with them stones, when you put that, just works all that together and pushes it all down in little nooks and crannies and speeds up our operation as well.
yeah.
So, gotta look at that and doing my budget next year. Typically, next year would be an application to buy trucks, or my rotation, excuse me. And I'm a little bit concerned and wondering how to do that moving forward. The trucks now are about 2 years out. So if we want to get on, like for another Western Star, he's going to call me this fall and then ask if I want a spot, because they give him X amount of spots, then they're full for a year. So we need to be thinking if that's an option or a way we want to go about how to get on that list. Then the next thing is that we want to try doing that on a source well. There's an opportunity I think I have for that, for the truck and the equipment. Because if we go bid option, they don't honor, well, they honor the bid when we bid it, but then when the equipment comes in, they won't honor the bid longevity. So there's no guarantee what that price will be or how much it will go up when we get the truck. So as I work forward I was working on doing my budget, I didn't know if you guys had an idea as far as moving forward with some new trucks this next year.
For 2025 delivery then, right?
Well, yes. Unless things change between now and then, but that's,
Knows.
Well,
because it would be late '24 probably when we would see the cabin chassis. And then it would go to the builder, and then they should have equipment by then, if they know what's coming. And then they got a 60-day build time per truck.
well, if you don't maintain your equipment replacement schedule, sooner or later it comes back to kill you from an expense standpoint, because you're just getting a hole from a reliability and mechanical standpoint. So, it makes it tough to juggle the numbers and be able to lock in prices, but
You thinking about one or two trucks?
I'd like to do two. But right now, the cost from what we bought these on to what they're estimating the new ones are just shy of 300,000 for one truck.
Now, is that, you gonna do the roller at the same time? You thinking about the roller in the same time frame?
Yeah, That, or I just also wanted to see, I had a shop truck plan for this year. And then we had a hot box plan for this year. See where my money's at. We may be able to try to get one this fall out of this year's budget, potentially. If not, it would be nice to include one next year. And I have not priced the bigger rollers. I don't know what price frame we're looking at on that. I can't answer that, so.
Not cheap.
Well,
Only
that little
place-
mini roller was what, 50, 60 grand?
30.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
We got that used, but it only had, what, 10 hours on it or something crazy?
That was new. It was just a demo.
Yeah, it's
That was a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the bigger one will cost. I don't,
We're talking 10 times that, or no
I'd
idea?
hate to even guess, Bill. I don't know. I've never quoted one of those.
What size would it be?
And you is,
Is there a tonnage? or
There's a
something?
tonnage, but I don't know what it
What's
would
it
be.
called? What's the technical term of that
It's
equipment?
called a pavement roller, maybe.
Vibration, vibrator.
Pavement-
Well, I'm just throwing this out, I didn't know, but maybe if we're going to do a roller, then just one truck.
We can see what the cost of the roller is, yeah.
Yeah.
We may have to do something like that.
Like that.
You're right.
Yeah. At least we're still moving forward with
yeah.
upgrading the
So how-
trucks. And
Just because I'm trying to wrap my mind around this, how old are the trucks then? Okay, you get new trucks, do you get rid of some? So how old are those?
They're early 2000s.
That's what I thought.
As we go back, now I'll replace our spares,
Right.
get rid of those, and then some of our fleet, or our route trucks will become a spare, then the new ones will become the route trucks. I remember that, the last snow we had this year, I was down 7 trucks. Last snow.
Mechanical issues.
yeah. Would have been a tough winter if it had a lot of snow.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there again, though, we're upgrading to the tandem trucks, so they're
Yeah.
going to be more efficient as far as especially hauling product.
That is nice, not having to turn around like we did, hauling material. That's what kills you. I mean, you got depending where you're at in the county, you got that long haul back. Of course, the roads aren't that great, so you're still only going 20, 25 mile an hour, 30. Get to reload and then go back up and start back over. You'll lose an hour turnaround time, depending on what part of the county you're in.
Yeah.
10-ton units seem to be around 40 to 50 grand. 10-ton, 20,000 pounds.
I'd have to see. I hadn't even spec'd any of them. I just know we're gonna have to do something.
Here's one for 60,000. 10-ton, it's a big unit, I mean, that's kind of size you're thinking, right? A bigger,
Except
With
I
the
think
cam and
I think
everything.
we'd probably go with dual drum instead of just a front drum.
so just front drum.
Yeah, because that way as we advance and wanna get a different paver and pave a little bit.
Oh, okay, that's just
Todd was
front
giving me
drum.
Todd was giving me a hard time about my paver when he was down.
That thing's a nightmare. I ain't working on that.
Come on, Todd.
Thing's got tracks on it from the 30s.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I know.
World War I vintage.
It's I think it's an 80 model, it's old blown ox. I was told we bought that used from Brooks.
You know, if Brooks gave it to you, it had some work
They
done.
wore it out.
It worked.
But it's one of them things that we can do some of the smaller additions on. We can go out and do some wedging, wedge some of our roads up before we chip seal it, and then we'll have the opportunity, we could even pave some as well. It just, but the more we start to do, my staff's gonna have to increase, and, I mean, that stuff takes a lot of manpower.
Sure.
Yeah. You're gonna lose minimum 3 guys on a paver,
And you
and then you got guys on rollers.
can't get one guy. How are you going to get
No,
three?
I got 3 commissioners sitting here looking for something to do.
Hey.
You don't want me working on it,
That
trust
pay
me.
increase has got to go up more than 5%.
Right.
It'll be
But
12 inches thick, then 3 inches thick, and then,
That if you guys are on board with looking at trucks and things, I'll incorporate that, try to shoot for that as a budget plan item for next year. And,
All you can do is look at the numbers and see how it all
Yeah.
fits.
tell us what you need, we'll tell you if we can swing it.
Get a number on that roller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't get behind on that stuff, though.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like spending money, you definitely if you walk over dimes to pick up pennies, it
Cost you in the long
it
run.
costs you in the long run.
Costs
But then
you
again,
dollars.
yeah, then again, we don't waste money either, but.
You know, I got our wheel rollers that need replaced as well. Them's getting hard to get parts for. We got that old Ingram and the old Ferguson. And those do a lot of miles in the summer when we chip seal.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
So you roll the chip the chip seal?
Yeah, when they put that down, they roll
I
it.
didn't know
Rubber tire
that.
roller.
Really?
That meshes that stone into that
That makes sense.
binder.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So then we need to start looking at our distributor. That's an 87.
Oh,
It's not 50 years old yet.
That's just getting broken in.
Yeah. You know, it works, but it's it span of life, you know.
that's probably what, a couple $100,000,
At least.
probably.
I think
That's single axle.
That one is, we could go with a tandem, a little bit bigger tank. You know, it'd be nice to have a 3,500 gallon tank at least on one.
Well, then you're talking,
Oil.
And then we got, yeah,
you're probably back up to 250 then, or 275.
probably. You know, then just the controls, as far as right now, you gotta get out and manually shut off all of our valves. So it makes it hard to swing an intersection without overshooting it, without over oiling it.
Yeah.
We're on the new ones, you can manually shut all those off inside, swing your intersections. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to going into 21st century on equipment versus
Oh, yeah.
stuff that old, but, you know,
Okay, what else you got, Ben?
that's all I have for you guys. Well, I got a lot I can tell you, but that's all I had for business today.
Okay,
Unless you guys got anything else for me?
anything for Ben? Anyone?
Nothing here.
I just thought I would maybe say something about the times when citizens from the public would come in and even asking good questions about the meaning of certain of our ordinances, like the solar ordinance last week and so forth. I think asking the questions can be good because it's citizens from the county asking the questions. For me to give good legal answers, it takes time to go back, kind of research it, look at things, compare the ordinances. My concern is if we just give answers in 5 minutes to certain questions from the public, depending on what they are. Some questions, I think, have to be answered as you're going along. Other ones have consequences in lawsuits when they come up, potentially. If you've got, all three of the commissioners saying something, or even two of the commissioners saying something means something, and you're just giving the best answer you can here, it might not be the one that is the best, most advantageous for the county later, potentially in litigation situations. So there's just a fine balance there to know how much we should answer right off the cuff, how much should we answer later, how much should we wait for litigation to give an official, or not even litigation, full applications, like on the solar stuff, to wait for. Those are hard issues to know. My concern is if we answer too many of them right on the day that they're asked, depending on the type of question, it could bind the county into certain positions or make it more difficult in litigation later.
Sense.
So I just wanted to just bring that up as an issue. And I'm not exactly sure where that line goes, or where that line is. Maybe I could speak up if there's a particular question on something where we know applications are maybe going to be coming in, and I could say, hey, maybe we should hold off and see what the application is, or maybe we should say, let's get our heads together with Chris Galmer and get his opinion on something too, or have me research it.
Yeah, give you some
There's different
time.
options.
Makes sense.
Well,
So-
yeah, some of those questions are the purview of the plan commission anyway. They don't even come to the commissioners.
And obviously, you guys voted on all of your ordinances and approved it, or a prior version of the commissioners approved it. It's a little more complicated with commissioners, I think, than with like the state legislature and the U.S. House of Representatives and the Senate. They have like a history to it. So the U.S. Supreme Court, when they analyze a U.S. statute, they can go back and say, okay, what did this congressperson say this meant? Or what did this committee say this meant or something? Obviously, as county commissioners, you don't necessarily have that. So your statements afterwards could be viewed as, well, this maybe is what you thought when you passed it, or maybe not. Your opinions can change too. The opinion you had last year could change to this year. So I just bring that up. I'll try to be sensitive to that when questions come up in certain contexts and so forth, and try to just guide you at the moment. It's your decision, obviously, whatever you want to do or say at a particular meeting.
No, we appreciate your input on that.
Just my thought on
You
it.
know, that's what we have you here for. And
That's why we gave you a raise.
There you go, there you go, there you go.
Keep us out of trouble.
Well,
Yeah,
you
keep
know,
us out of
it's,
trouble. Well,
it's,
giving out raises.
that's part of the challenge of doing
Very
your job
good.
of representing everybody, and so, anyway.
Okay, well taken. All right. All you got?
Yep.
All done?
Nothing else for you guys.
Okay. All righty. Have a good day, Ben.
Yep, you guys too.
You'll make Mary Henry very happy, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I call it the weekend. Do you have any idea when they're coming out this way? I don't know, when he gets there.
There's a lot going on, guys. There's a lot.
Well, I didn't make any promises. I just said when he gets there,
Right.
we'll get
We're
it.
working, I mean, we're moving forward as fast as we can.
She just wanted to make sure it was going to be done this summer, and I said, yeah, it's on the books, it's on the schedule.
If something happens, that's the plan.
Yeah. I think she ought to throw a big party for us though when it's all done.
Well, that's right after Susan's for paving her road this year.
We'll have a party.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, just FYI, I don't know if you guys, Highlands is up for, the maintenance bond is up this year. And there's a lot of issues out there.
Sure
Not a lot, but there's several issues on that road, both of them. And I have been in contact with Brooks on that. The bond expires June, well, the exact date, but I am gonna be meeting with Eric Graft here soon from Brooks, do a walkthrough on that. I asked him if he just wanted to extend the bond. He said, no, absolutely not. We'll work on this, we'll get it done, so that is in the works moving forward. So, and I believe they'll take care of it,
Okay,
but
good to know.
let you know.
Okay,
Visited that with you.
let's
Sites
get
and
back
roads
to
there
the
and
budget.
in the Highlands, yeah.
Yeah, if there's,
Alligator and just
I don't really know
is what it is.
We're back
if you guys
still.
have specific changes. We had talked about, so we left with electric at 115.
Percent pay decrease?
And the gas, we had used 22, almost half of the 50,000 that we had budgeted for this year already.
Puts us somewhere probably near to 75 for the year.
Yeah,
We should go through a period where no gas.
right.
I think we're all right on that, actually.
Should be close because we're through the big months now.
Yeah.
And the thing you gotta realize with the budget too is when we lock in those rates, like if we buy a bunch of gas in the summer, that would
Yeah.
look big
Well, yeah.
for the year,
yeah.
but then the winter we're covered, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So or it gets I suppose we expense it when we actually get billed for it, don't we? But if we buy summer storage gas, he would want paid, we'd have to pay those for that contract, so it's these numbers are gonna look high at sometimes, and then you're gonna say, why is it so cheap right now?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because we're hedging. Before, we just paid it as it came, now we're hedging, so it's hard to say of that 26, you say we've spent 26,000 so far this year?
22,
Yeah, how much of
130.
that was actually used for the winter versus what was the hedge versus, but I
right.
just got a response, he's gonna get with me here this week and we'll strategize and I'll get with you guys on, I think we're okay though.
You might want to have Leanne get you her spreadsheet that she keeps,
Yeah, could I get that?
because, yeah.
If I could
'cause
get that before the meeting, that'd be
I'm
good.
not sure
That's very informative.
it doesn't look real good.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't look like we're ahead.
Yeah, let's look and see what it is.
Okay.
And it may not be, because we did authorize them to hedge us. Remember when we said, hey, if you get in that $4 range, grab us a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we were buying gas before at $2.50.
Right.
So it is gonna be more expensive, but
Yeah.
like I said, we also don't stay up at night wondering if we're gonna get that $50,000 weekend bill. And I don't think that'll ever happen again, but you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it's like anything else, when you're doing hedge, I mean, you can come up on either side of it.
Yeah.
There's no guarantees, so,
Yeah,
Right.
I still think we did the right thing.
yeah. I'd like to see a comparative though on what we spent like the year before in a spreadsheet versus what we've spent.
She has it all.
If she could maybe even give me like a 3-year total or 3 years running and then just say, hey,
Because that year before would include that 40,000.
yeah, we could throw that out though and say, all right.
See where we're at, right?
Yeah, but-
Because that'll be itemized.
It's definitely an eye-opener.
Yep.
I think we need to make sure this is working for us. If not, we need to figure out, change our hedging, so.
Okay, moving on down. Questions, comments?
So as of now, you want me to leave gas at 50?
I think we're okay for now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really have anything else to say on the rest of that.
All looks pretty good unless history gives you some reason to question something.
Yeah, I don't see any real big changes.
If you go back to the second page where the blue is, that's your lighted funds. So I have in there year 3 of the EMS agreement. Then I have notes because it's going to be your guys' turn to do the 300,000 that you had promised on the County Road 56 project. So that's going to need to go in there. Then there were notes though, and it says, it looks like it was going to be more like 347,000. I don't know if you guys agreed to that 347,000, something to do with some kind of soil or something. So I wasn't sure whether to put 300 or 347,000.
I think it's going to be more than that. I would probably.
Well, on the original plan, right, on the
Well,
original
yeah.
plan, it was 300 from TIF, 300 from lighted. Then there's gonna be 100 coming from somewhere that hadn't been decided yet, but all that's gonna be way more.
Yeah. I mean, we're up over $1 million now, total,
Yeah,
depending on what NDOT does to help us out.
where they participate.
Yeah. Well, we probably better at least put the 347 in there.
I would think so. From the notes that I had left, it appeared that you guys had already, oh, right here. 347 extra work needed due to Marley soil.
Yes.
That darn Marley.
Is that Bob Marley?
You know, that's what I thought of.
Jacob Marley.
Yeah, Jacob Marley? Little reggae.
So you're okay with going with at least the 347 for now?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's on the 56 project.
Yeah. So besides that and the EMS, then,
The only one I see that maybe we could eliminate is the county highway tanks. Do we really need 5,000 put in for that? That's been remediated and signed off, hasn't it?
Yeah, we don't even own them anymore.
We don't even own
we're
the
still
property.
paying.
We don't even own the property.
You're paying, no.
We're
Huh?
still paying.
You're paying.
Still paying what?
Paying Barnes and Thornburg for,
So we are still paying for some monitoring?
It's not very much.
Interesting. I thought that was, we had full remediation, we were
Yeah.
done. Why would we be
That was
paying?
my perception too, but we keep getting a bill from
well,
Barnes.
I shall ask.
Maybe we should call them, tell them we don't need, maybe they keep monitoring until we tell them not to.
Yeah, we need to.
It ain't ours. It's not our property. We're done.
Who owns the
property?
City of Auburn, we sold it to the City of Auburn.
I don't think that absolves us with the responsibility.
No,
though.
but I think we
I thought
remediated
it was done,
Yeah,
yeah.
they signed off and said now, okay, it can't have a
Yeah,
structure with a roof above it and all that, but we were
yeah, we gotta
remediated.
ask that question.
How are we, where does Barnes and Thornburg fit into that?
We pay them services, it always says services rendered in connection with environmental remediation issues for a certain period. So like the last one we paid today, it was $147 for the period ending March 31st. Then in April, we paid for, it says legal services for environmental remediation issues ending February, and that was $661.
Make sure they don't owe some money back.
Yeah, we need to look at those, actually look at the actual invoices
Yeah,
and
I'd
see
like
what that's for.
That's really all they say,
That's all they say.
is they say remediation
Yeah.
for
Say for what project?
whatever services, for the highway gas.
Highway gas.
That's for
Yeah,
that.
and that's how I determine which, but I will ask.
Yeah. Ask
I'd be happy to reach out to somebody from there. I mean.
Would you?
If yeah. Is that something you could email me a copy of their recent bill and then I could just call in and
Yeah,
figure
ask
that
them what
out?
it's for, because I thought we were signed off.
I thought we were too.
But there could be something that the city needs to do, or like you're saying, you think there's no more monitoring.
I think we're
monitoring that needs it. Yeah. Then yeah, I'd be willing to look at it and say, why are you still billing us? It could be a glitch. They're a big enough firm. Hopefully, they wouldn't have a glitch in their system and keep bleeding us of legal fees. But
I don't know, if you own a business and the glitch is that you're sending out bills, that's a good thing.
And people are paying them,
And
yeah.
people pay them, yeah. But, yeah, I think we need to at least address that. I know it's a small amount, but still
it
money,
looks like they're still billing, so there may be another $600 bill coming or something.
yeah.
I'll be at their office Thursday too, so,
Okay, there you go.
if-
I mean, I don't care who.
well, either way, I'm,
Okay.
well,
I will respond to the email that gets sent to me. and add
Okay. Did you want me to wait, if you're seeing them, did you want me to wait until you talk to them, or she? I'm happy to do whatever you want.
oh, go ahead,
Okay, you want me to do, okay,
go
Yeah,
ahead.
reach out to them.
okay. That way you don't have to talk about this sort of an issue when you're down there too.
Yeah,
I-
well, I was just
yeah.
trying to figure out who to talk to, who's gonna be the,
Yes, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay. Where we at? How about courthouse security?
What's,
10,000.
what's that machine gonna cost us that we're proposing putting upstairs?
Yeah,
25,000,
it's pretty close.
yeah, give or take.
25, the gated panel don't have a price, don't have a quote on that yet.
Is it like a Garrett machine?
It's flatbed scanner. It's to scan purses and satchels and anything, you send it through x-rays. The judges want that as a very positive, very insistent that we have that.
Well, and actually, that was part of the original security plan anyhow.
Well, it should be
It should
downstairs.
have, yeah.
Yeah, but,
So, it's not, and they cut that out of the, out of the plan at the time, but
right.
we really should have,
So, and the idea is put it up there because it'll slow down here for just, we have the metal detector down here, which is suffices enough for keeping weapons out, and up there, they want just another level of security
Yeah,
to,
well, that would catch the phones up there.
help
And
catch phones.
even if a gun happened to slip by down here,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, it would
yeah,
obviously catch that up there also.
Sure,
So,
that makes sense, I
I
guess.
think it's reasonable.
so probably,
35,000?
I would say 35
When
to
all's
be,
said and done, probably so.
yeah.
Okay, let's go to
Larry
35
can-
on that.
Okay,
And, I'm okay with it since it was supposed to be part of the original security system. I don't,
Yeah.
if it was just simply 35,000
And I did-
to let cell phones in, I'd
Yeah.
probably feel a little differently.
yeah. And I basically have that agreement that we can,
Yeah.
kind of reluctantly, but. Okay. Question mark. Number 15, King, 95,000, and come down to 31. Economic Development, 118,000.
Okay, so last year, or for this year, I believe it was number 15 and number 44 that ended up getting put together.
Yeah.
Right,
I remember right.
I took that to
Right,
105.
so take 44 should be 0,
Right,
44 should be 0.
right?
15 should be 105.
105, yeah.
105.
Okay, now let's come down to 31. What is that about? What do they do?
Well, they don't do anything. That's our funds. If we want to, for instance, if there's a project that we want to work with for infrastructure or something, that's our funds to
do that.
put into economic development.
It's not an
That's
automatic
basically the
payment
old-
to somebody.
No, that's the old seeded
Okay,
money. So, and again, that's transferable to other things if necessary.
year 3 of the EMS agreement, I hate to see year 5, what that increase is going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be, but
Yeah.
we've made out on that so far.
Yeah,
So
we've done-
we
we've
got to
done
remember
well.
that. We've gotten a bargain.
Whatever it ends up being is going to be less than what it would cost us to get back in
Oh, right.
the ambulance business.
I don't want to be in the ambulance.
But that could double. In year 5, I would,
I hope
I
not.
wouldn't be a bit surprised if it doubles, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
See, we can't afford to do that on our own. Anything else? Covered bridge rehab?
Or leave that there for,
Yeah, that's still going to have a roof one of these days, so
Yeah.
I think we ought to leave that in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think my thought was, when do we do the roof, and is that another year off, maybe?
I'd say so.
I don't know. You're probably more qualified to look at that and make a judgment than,
It needs done, though. I mean, it's,
It's got to be
you
done.
can see some blue sky through it, so,
Yeah,
here and there.
considering all we've invested in everything else, there, I don't want to let the roof go, particularly since we've got money already set aside.
right.
It doesn't make sense to let a roof go and damage
Lose the
something
rest
else.
of it,
The question
compromise
is,
the
can we
rest
put a
of it.
metal shingle on there that looks like shake?
Oh, yeah.
Because that would be ideal. That would last literally 50, 75 years,
Oh, yeah.
and it'd just be,
We
and they
have-
make them to where you can't tell the difference from 30, 40 foot away.
And it sounds really nice when you're walking
Oh,
through the
yeah.
bridge.
Yeah.
It's raining.
When it's raining.
Well, we're doing the budget now. Do we need to look at increasing that with the idea of doing that next year?
Well, roof for that thing would be, especially in metal, well, even shake. Shake's no cheaper than metal. If you redo a shake roof, it's big money.
Yeah.
I'll bet you that roof to do that. I'm just throwing a number out there, but I don't think 100 grand to get it done.
I think we had a rough quote from Zachridge. I don't remember what it was, but I think it was more than,
That's what I'm saying. It's
yeah.
gonna start with 6 figures. Mm-hmm. It's where-
Easy.
Yeah.
And part of the problem is getting the old shingles off. And
Yes.
all the, you can't dump them in the river.
Yeah, you can't just scrape them like we usually do and just, well, they'll
it's a
float.
lot.
Just have someone stand in the water and grab them as they fall
Yeah,
off.
or just send
Put a
them
net
down to
across
Fort.
and-
Yeah, put a net there. Well, no, because then Army Corps will say we're harvesting fish and kill some snail in the mud or something.
Just float them down to Fort Wayne, what the heck.
Yeah, there
They
you
could
go.
There you
use
go.
them.
Is it, I assume the bridge might be on the historic register?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So there's probably some requirements for the roof that you have to think about, like you can't put a plastic roof on it or
Right.
something.
Plus, we took some federal grant money to preserve it. We got to make sure they're okay with a metal
So I mean,
roof.
I think the first step would be to make sure they're okay with the metal.
Right. Oh,
I
yeah.
like I understand what you're saying with
I
it
just need to
lasting
put
and
another
looking good.
shake roof on it, and 30 years later, put another shake roof on it, because
I hope they don't tell us to put a shake on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll be flexible with that.
Well, and there's a fire thing with the shake.
Yeah.
If you get lightning
Metal's better for
strike,
fire. You get a lightning strike, it'll ground it and dissipate it.
the bridge is gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I think we better increase that. We probably, if we're thinking about a roof, maybe we ought to take that up to 100 grand just to,
yeah,
I mean, I think we better.
I think so too.
And maybe, you know, I don't know if the bridge group there has a little bit of funds. They could help out with the roof if needed, but
Maybe do some fundraising if we
maybe do
need
some
more than
fundraising.
100 grand.
We'll throw 100, and if it's 115, maybe they can come up with 15 somehow or
Yeah.
something.
Or that could be a good spot to use excess
Yeah.
ARPA funds that we're not going to.
Yeah, that's true, extra ARPA money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's go to 100 on that, though, to
Yeah.
be safe.
I think that's a good idea.
I agree. Uh, What else we got?
Really don't see anything else that
Looks pretty good for the
jumps
first,
out.
pretty good for the first go around, I'd say.
Now, the new highway buildings fund, 600,000.
Is that, should that be struck down to zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be zero, shouldn't it? Because we've already got that, we've got the financing in place coming online, and so I think we go to zero on that.
Will there be anything like soft cost wise that wasn't figured in?
Now, there's about 350,000 in soft cost
Yeah.
that,
Didn't
that
the
aren't
bond.
figured into the original, so, I mean, that, we could, maybe we should leave.
Well,
I was thinking there was something that wasn't figured in all the
did
way.
we talk about using ARPA money for that, though, if we ran into trouble?
Well, we talked about using whatever was left in the contingency fund.
Okay, the
There's 400
contingency fund,
There's
yeah.
460,000
In
in
the
the contingency
contingency
fund
fund, yeah.
that can be used for that if it's not used for change orders and so forth. But
I think we're all
maybe we
right
ought to
there.
leave 300 of that in there for soft cost and
Because two above that, the 1.25 million, that is all coming from ARPA. So that's
yeah.
not a thing.
300,000? You think?
But are you still need to have some in here to fund the highway? Or are you not, like
The
not
operating,
anything to do with the building, the new bond, any of that, but the money that you use for Ben now, like, I don't know.
which is, that's
Sol
64, actually. Is the operating, which has got the 1,250,000 in it now, but that actually should go in, should have been under the building fund. But anyway, regardless. I would suggest maybe we keep 300,000 in the building fund just as a hedge on soft cost, depending on
Yeah,
where we end up
don't
with
use it, we
change
can-
orders,
Right.
and move the other 300,000 up to 64.
Is that gonna be enough for the highway?
No. I'm just saying, I'm just covering that 600,000 right now.
Yeah.
Historically, we've been putting 900,000
Right.
into the operating fund.
Right.
So maybe we ought to go back to that, or round it off and put $1 million in there.
Instead of the million,
for operation.
250? Instead of the 1,250,000? Because
Well, yeah, that 1,250,000 there was the ARPA money there, but we ought to put at least
For
$1
next-
million in the operating side of that, I would think.
Right, because it had been 900,000.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go for that. What do you think, Todd?
It's fine.
So we take 66 down to 300,000.
Yeah.
And then
64 to a million.
64 to a million, yeah.
okay,
61, we can take back to zero, because that's all been taken care of
Right.
by the sheriff's, it was in the sheriff's budget, so.
right.
61?
61,
I
yeah.
don't show a 61. Show a 60 and a 62. Oh, now equipment, got, yeah, it's
Yeah,
dotted
it's
line.
down.
It's not
Okay,
in
I'm sorry,
numerical
yeah.
order.
We can
Did you
take
say
that to
about
zero.
61? Zero?
Zero.
Okay. Right next to,
So are there any, so anything else that you guys didn't talk about, are you wanting them to stay the same or?
Mm-hmm.
And then I see if it can be funded because your income will be less.
Yeah. Run the numbers.
that's right.
Run the numbers, and then we'll go for round two.
Okay.
Yes. And we'll either celebrate or we'll weep.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I think I just need to run some numbers and,
That does it for now?
yep,
Okay.
and we'll go from there.
Anybody else have anything to finish up?
Nothing here.
Okay, hearing nothing, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Stuff done. I pity council, they got their work cut out for them this year on the budget.
Well, yeah, particularly since the levy growth rate is limited to 4% now,
4%,
and
yeah.
inflation's running
Yeah.
8 or 9 probably.
That's
by
the
end
light
of
side
year.
of the real
Yeah,
inflation, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're telling us.
Yeah.
That's 4%
So it's,
chaos.